What's going on, guys? Victor here. I completely forgot to do an intro in today's video, but let me just tell you, we had an absolutely epic day in our local waters catching a ton of these guys, Blackfin Tuna as well as Atlantic bonito. So we set out the planers, me, Chris, Kylie, and Brooke, and today's video I want to also kind of help you guys and do a little bit of how-to, so stick around towards the end of the video because I'm going to go over basically our entire spread and help what works for us in putting tunas in the boat. So I'll catch you guys offshore. I think she's got a tuna and I think Chris has a little bonito on top.
We don't have anything else out, so I'm gonna
He says it's seaweed. Tuna to Blackfin. Tangles like this. Oh, that's what I like. What?
wow, trophy.
Chris goes, what? Blackfin. Oh, gushing. We're gonna get him in the pool. I think Chris has a little bonito on.
I snagged a sword buoy.
His seaweed ball is pulling a little bit.
Another po' boy tuna.
Check that out! We're in the Blackfin! Hey, you said your parents love Blackfin tuna, don't they?
They do. My mom will be so happy.
Look at the colors on this one. You know how they normally have a real gold? See, he's almost like real iridescent. See that? That's a sick looking one. Alright, so we're getting lines back out and Chris is hooked up on the high-speed vibe, that kind of plug type lure that I showed you guys earlier in the last video. Yeah, we're on again! Come on, Kylie!
I go, Kylie, that rod's about to go off and you're going to have to get it.
No, bonito.
What? Yay! Trophy! That's Chris's favorite fish right there.
Tell you guys, this high-speed vibe gets it done. We just got a, oh, we got doubled up. We just got a smoking hit that hasn't stopped on this rod right here. And we're deep, so I'm optimistic. The deeper you go, the bigger the likelihood of a big blackfin or tuna.
That was 300.
Or big blackfin or wahoo. Whatever it is wants to stay real deep. Looks like a blackfin. Yep.
Nice one. Bigger.
There we go.
Holy smoke.
High speed vibe. Lures promising to be very effective. Bonitas. Pretty sure we had a wahoo bite on it the other day. And now tunas. Not doing bad. We got like 4 tunas in the box already, don't we?
Yep. There he is. Yeah, but people don't use
tuna.
it. People don't use it. Oh, it's just like a
Gotta get rid of it.
Another good one.
In the boat.
Not a bad one.
Numero 5. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll walk you guys through the whole spread later, but basically what we've been trolling is the bait strips, like you guys saw in the wahoo video, high speed vibe, tuna feather on top, and the bait strips are getting smoked today. Alright guys, it is non-stop action out here. Putting one planer out, other one's getting hit as it's putting out. We can never have all the rods in the water at once. And now we got Chris Lowe on the long rod. And you know, the other day when we caught that like 15, 10-pound wahoo, they don't pull a lot of drag on the planer, so treat every single fish like it's gonna be a big one because you don't know what it's gonna be.
Victor's taking off the planer.
Look at that thing! I had the gaff out and everything. I had my hopes up.
Number 7.
Yeah. We're 3 away from our limit.
It's got the wrong stripes.
Yeah. We haven't had a bite in quite a while, but the long rod just had a screaming run. I'm very curious to see what it is. Oh. Live action. Live action. Here's that action.
Yeah. Oh, full grown.
Big boy.
Oh, big boy.
Full size.
I always love catching these things, no matter how many times. They just look so cool. For those of you guys who don't know, this is a Blackfin tuna. Very big eyeballs. All tunas have big eyeballs because what they'll do is they feed on squid, they feed deep, and they also use those eyeballs to ambush prey. They come from the bottom and shoot up, and they take in all that light, especially when they're feeding real deep. Fish with big pupils are known to be really deep because there's not a lot of light down there. So we're gonna go ahead and just knock off one of the sides of this tuna. We're gonna go into the head right here, around the pec fin, down there. Just gonna get it on the spine of the tuna and take the tip of my knife and just go all the way down to the tail. Just like that. Once I do that, find the spine with my knife and just work my way up towards the head. Bigger tuna, what you can do is, a lot of people will do where they go down the length of here and kind of separate into two loins. Smaller blackfin, I'm not gonna do that. We got through the pin bones. What I'm gonna do is take the tip of my knife and go on the other side of the tuna's backbone. They have a really big raised backbone. You gotta muscle into it. And so that's how you do that. So what a lot of people do is they separate their tuna into top, bottom. Smaller tunas like this, you don't need to do that. And to clean it up, we're just gonna go underneath these bones right here and this belly. Feed that to Julio, our pet toadfish. And now, I'm gonna get rid of the bloodline by going on both sides of it, going all the way to the skin, because you guys will see how dark it is. Most people don't eat around the bloodline, and tuna is one of those fish that we tend to avoid the bloodline, especially because we eat it a lot for sushi and sashimi. So that's what I'm talking about. Really red, dark, real gamey flavor. Now line up your fillet with the edge of the fillet table, tail end going towards the head. And they have real thin skin, so I'm gonna leave a tiny bit of meat on the fillet. You guys will see why in a second too. Some people say it's wasteful. I don't think so. If you leave a little bit of meat on there, very fibrous and also red. And see, even all that bloodline I took out, they still got a ton of bloodline, which I'll clean up in the kitchen. I will catch you guys there, and we're gonna whip something up. As promised, guys, I'm gonna walk you through my setup and what helps me put tuna in the boat. I'm not an expert, but this is what works for us. Okay, so if you guys are not interested in the whole rigging aspect of this video, you guys can fast forward to this part right here. That's the timestamp, and we're gonna show you guys how to make sushi and do the cooking portion. But if you guys are interested, I'm gonna walk you through it. So starting with depth and watercolor. I'm gonna get to all the gear in a second. When we're out there looking for pelagic fish like tuna and wahoo, we're always looking for that really deep blue water. So you have inlets like Boca Inlet and Hillsborough Inlet, and on an outgoing tide, all of the fresh water and the green water is flowing out of the inlet. So sometimes that blue water is in 100 feet, sometimes it's in 200 feet, sometimes it's in 300 feet. So if your focus is really to get on pelagic fish like tuna and wahoo, follow the blue water. If it's starting at 100, that's the shallowest you should fish. If it starts in 200, that's the shallowest you should fish. So follow the blue water. You make zigzags in between 100 to 300, 100 to 400, depending on the blue water. When you're trolling, it's all about maximizing your opportunity because you're running over schools of fish. So we like to fish 4-rod spreads. Now, these are what are called planers. These are very popular to troll in South Florida because what they allow you to do is to get your bait or your lure down deep. This is a number 8 planer. It's gonna dive deeper than this 4-6 planer. I have mine rigged up to a bridle system. That way I can take the planer off instead of having to hand line it in. We like to fish 2 different size planers for 2 reasons. Number 1, if you fish the same size, your bait underwater is going to be at the same level and the chance for it to tangle is going to be greatly increased. So when you stagger them, you know, you have your 4-6 here and your 8 here, you're going to be in different levels of the water column. And that's another good thing because sometimes the tunas are down deep 100 feet, sometimes they're down deep 50 feet. You want different presentations at different depths to cover the entire water column. Because remember, you're trolling, you're covering water, and that's what it's all about, is finding the fish. So experiment. If you see that you're getting a lot of hits on the number 8, put a lot of value into that. If you see you're getting a lot on top, put a lot of value into that. Maybe switch up all your baits to top baits and stagger them at different lengths from the boat to make sure you don't get tangled. So as I was saying, 99% of the people who are trolling planers have a sea witch type combination. So what I troll is a little bit of mylar, which is this flash. You can go underneath the sea witch or above it. I like it above it because I think you have more flash and shine. A lot of people put it underneath it. And this is what's called a sea witch. It's just nylon hair, and you have different color combinations. This is purple and crystal mixed with some mylar. I actually tied this one myself. And what it does underwater, it creates kind of an umbrella type shape, and it goes through the water like that, and it'll also spin under there, and it just gives your bait a bigger presentation. Another thing that people will throw on there is a squid skirt. So you can experiment with different colored squid skirts as well. You can get as technical, as fancy as you want. People put a lot of value into color. I myself think the majority of your bites is not color oriented, but are you where the fish are? A lot of people will think that the purple was the hot color that day, but they don't realize that the number 8 planer or the deeper planer was what had that color, and that's why they're getting a lot of hits. I don't think color is that important in fishing. I know some of you might be going crazy when I say that, but generally colors are to catch the fisherman's eye, not the fish. Okay, and what I'll run here is, you guys have been seeing us fish this a lot. This is a bait strip. Whether you're fishing a reel strip or a bait strip, you guys have seen the proof in the pudding. We've caught tons of wahoo on these now on the channel, tunas, dolphin, basically any pelagic fish. I fish double 7/0 mustad hooks. And by the way, everything I'm talking about is going to be linked below, as well as coupon codes, because I do have some coupon codes to help you guys save money, such as mustad is 20% off, Conley rods are $10 off. So any code that I can help you guys save money will be linked in the description box below. I also have a bait strip code, Landshark, to save 15% off. Like I said, everything will be linked below. So I like to fish sea witches on both my planers. I do different colors to see which one is getting more bites. But honestly, I think it's the depth that really matters. Now, those little tunas and little bonitas tend to really like feathers on top. So I'll run something directly on top. This is a no alibi feather with a little mustad hook on there. And so that's on top. Let's say you have your number 8 planer here, your 4-6, you have your feather here, and then you can run something in between, like this High Speed Vibe by Yozuri. So this guy probably dives around 10 feet and it has a really tight wobble. And I like to troll different things because everything's a little bit of a different presentation. Small presentation, medium, large, different depths. You know, on different days, fish react to different things. Sometimes they like things on top that doesn't cause a lot of commotion. Sometimes they like things with a lot of vibration. This thing throws off some crazy vibrations. So on top, 20-pound mono with an Avid Conley Kingfish rod. I'm going to have that linked below. And then these are my planer rods. This is an Avid 30 with 80-pound Tuf Line. Very important to have braid on your planer rigs, because when you're planer fishing, you have a ton of stretch because you're letting line out, and you want to minimize the stretch. So braid is going to equal a lot less stress than mono. 80-pound Tuf Line. I also have a coupon code with them now to save you guys money. That's Landshark on the screen, also linked below. Conley stand-up rod, another Conley stand-up rod, and that's pretty much it. I think I'm going to do a Tackle Tuesday with a really in-depth review, but this was just kind of like a little overview to show you guys what we troll. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave it a thumbs up if you guys like this little interjection between the video. Now let's go make some sushi. I'm gonna show you guys 3 easy ways on how to prep and make some sushi, sashimi style dishes with the Blackfin tuna. The first thing we're doing is I have a sheet of nori right here, the shiny side down, because that's gonna be the outside. And I have some sushi rice, sticky rice, short grain rice. It's very important you have a little bowl of water to dip your fingers in, because as the name implies, sticky rice is very sticky, and the water will help to combat that. So I'm gonna start loading up my roll with our rice. Wet my fingers, but you don't wanna drown your seaweed. Now the roll closest to me, or the side closest to me, I'm going to have the rice go all the way to the edge, along with the entire sushi roll, except the edge furthest away from me. I don't want the rice going all the way to that edge, because you want some seaweed to overlap with more seaweed, or the nori. That way it'll help it stick, rather than having rice on rice or rice on seaweed. And believe it or not, you don't need as much rice as you think, because remember, when you roll it up, it's all gonna kind of overlap. This is just a piece of Blackfin tuna, okay? I'm gonna put it in here. I know that it's longer than that, but that's fine because we're gonna cut it, so it's no big deal. Traditionally, spicy tuna rolls, they use a lot of the scrap parts of the tuna. They chop it up into a lot of little bits, mix it with spicy mayo. That's probably the traditional spicy tuna roll you're used to. I don't wanna chop it up. I like a nice full piece of fish, so I'm doing it this way. I'm gonna just put my spicy mayo, which we made earlier, which is literally just sriracha and mayo. You can add sesame oil, you can add soy sauce. I know there's a ton of different ways to make it, but the 2 main things are mayo and sriracha, and that's really all you need. Now, I'm gonna load it up with a piece of cucumber, just like that. Now you're gonna see some saran wrap. The saran wrap is between our bamboo roller, the nori sheet, and this is gonna help us to keep our bamboo sheet clean, and it's also gonna help you to cut the roll, and it just helps in keeping it clean. So what I'm doing is I'm moving my roll forward and tucking the bamboo underneath the roll and kind of compressing it all in. Because remember, you're rolling it, and one thing to remember is not to make sure you don't get your plastic, your saran wrap, underneath the roll, otherwise you're gonna have to fight it out. So I just keep pushing it forward. That's why I keep lifting it up for you guys to show you. I'm just rolling it forward, rolling it forward. Just keep doing that until it overlaps. One reason we didn't want too much rice at the edge, because if I wet my fingers a little bit and get this seaweed wet, you're gonna see that it's gonna help it. The nori, when it touches the nori, it's gonna help it to stick. And I'm just gonna kind of compact it like this. Now we're gonna top our sushi roll with some avocado, which I have very thinly sliced avocado right here. Okay, we're gonna lay it this way. This is half of an avocado. And what I'm aiming for is, I'm gonna use my hands, I'm gonna kind of try to just spread it. Okay, you want it to just be kind of even. And I know it looks like a lot of avocado, but if you go to a sushi place, this is how much they use too. Yeah, now I'm gonna use my saran wrap, and I want to press my avocado and just form it onto my roll. But I'm gonna actually leave this on here because we're gonna cut our roll with the saran wrap, and it's really gonna help us in cutting and making sure everything stays together. I have my knife. I'm gonna cut off a little bit of the end first. And I wanna use the entire length blade of the knife to make these cuts. So this piece, this is for the chef. That is good. Okay, now we're gonna cut our rolls to our desired thickness. And the saran wrap also helps keep things together, and it makes your cutting much easier. There's a look inside. Normally, whenever we make sushi or have sushi nights or parties, we almost always do a seared component with our tuna. We usually coat it in sesame seeds. I saw a really cool recipe. Someone used coriander or cilantro on the outside instead, and I think that's gonna be a really fragrant, good kick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna coat our tuna log with sesame oil on all sides. This is gonna help our cilantro to stick, as well as the sear process, and it's also going to flavor our tuna. Now this is dried coriander. It's not wet, I didn't rinse it. And we're just gonna go ahead and put it on all sides of our fish. Non-stick pan right here, really high heat. We're just gonna sear each side for about 10 to 15 seconds, just so the outside's barely white. And it's also really important that every single side of our tuna is the exact same length. We're gonna flip it on this side now. This side. This side. Just want the outside coated in the middle to be completely raw. Take a look on this side too. All right guys, I present to you the fruits of our labor. So we got, starting with our spicy tuna roll. This is the avocado all cut up. This is the spicy mayo we made earlier, drizzled on top. And then it's kind of faded, but that dark black stuff, that's eel sauce, homemade eel sauce. Longtime subscribers know we make it homemade and it's really easy. It's mirin, sugar, soy sauce, boil it, let it reduce, let it thicken up, and it is so good and easy to store. We have our coriander, seared blackfin. I'm really excited to try this. And that's why you really have to make sure you barely sear the outside, otherwise they won't cut. But this Dexter knife got it done, very sharp. And then this is actually our Atlantic bonito from the other day, which we're gonna have just sashimi style. I'm gonna have it, I love sashimi. And I have a little bit of red chili pepper and jalapeno for garnish, and I like a little bit of heat with my sashimi, so it's right on top of there. Now, this, we are honestly so blessed and grateful to be able to do this, because sushi is something Brook and I really enjoy, and this is really expensive. Like if you go to a restaurant, this is easily 75 bucks worth of sushi. And I'll tell you what, you go to a sushi restaurant, you're not getting that much tuna in your roll. No way. So, Babe and I are about to enjoy. We are very hungry, so we got our little soy sauce on the side. Big wasabi guy right here. So I always have my tube of wasabi. First thing, I'm gonna do a little bit of this sashimi, our bonito sashimi, with our jalapeno and chili pepper, a little dab of wasabi. What do you think?
Very good.
Very good?
Sushi is something that we love going out to get, but since we haven't really been able to go out to any restaurants, well, since we can't go out to any restaurants, I mean, yeah, we could order takeout, but we've just been eating at home mostly. And we haven't had sushi in a really long time. Mm-hmm. And
It's
really
so good. And sushi is something that's, it's a very visual thing. And one reason Brook and I love going out is because the sushi places, they can make it so elaborate, and it's like your mouth just salivates as soon as you see all the colors and contrast. And that's one thing I've learned over the years is as we make sushi, is contrasting colors is a huge thing. Greens and reds and yellows and all those colors coming together is what really, I think, makes sushi pop. It is, this bonito, guys, like you heard me say in the last video, is so good. It literally melts in your mouth Honestly, my favorite fish to ever eat is sashimi.
That cilantro, what is
Seared?
that? Cilantro seared.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
I like it.
It's really good. It's really fresh.
Yeah, it's very good. Another reason we like going out to eat sushi is it takes forever to make it. It's currently 10 p.m. and I am someone who does not like eating dinner late.
Nope. I'm in the doghouse, boys. I'm in big trouble. A big sushi roll.
I'll tell you what, this is so good. I keep going back for this.
The coriander seared? Yeah. We gotta make that more often. I like it. It's
So simple, but it's so good.
that coriander, just the simplicity of the smell. Sesame oil is fragrant, cilantro is fragrant. It really packs a nice punch.
We may be eating at 10 p.m., but it's very good and very worth it.
Thanks, babe.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
These rolls are really good.
Yeah, so Brook and I are gonna get to eating. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys like these videos, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below what you guys want to see next. If you have any advice for me for sushi, maybe. All you sushi chefs out there. And that's it. See you guys.
Bye.